All right, so we're diving into Lagos today.
Okay.
This megacity, right? It's facing this like classic problem.
Right.
How do you balance, massive growth
Yeah.
with protecting the environment? It's a tough one.
Yeah, a lot of cities are going through that right now.
Exactly. And we've got this really interesting report from Vanguard,
Oh, okay.
a major newspaper in Nigeria. They've been covering this crackdown
Uh-huh.
by the Lagos state government. And get this, they sealed off
Oh, wow.
619 facilities.
Whoa, 619.
Yeah, 619 businesses for breaking environmental rules.
That's a big statement.
That's not messing around, right?
No, not at all. That's a huge number.
So what's the real story here? What's going on?
Well, you got to understand Lagos is like one of the fastest growing cities on the planet.
Right.
The population's supposed to double in the next few decades, so that puts a ton of pressure on the environment.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
And this crackdown, well, it kind of shows how serious they're getting about these issues.
Yeah, they're not playing around. So
Yeah.
the article mentions like a ton of violations, right?
Oh, yeah.
What are we talking about specifically? Like, what were these businesses actually doing?
So think about like the environmental challenges of any big city, but like magnified, right? You've got improper disposal of industrial waste, especially the bad stuff, electronic waste, batteries, chemicals, that kind of thing.
Right, that's nasty stuff.
Yeah. And then you've got air pollution from factories, generators, all that, plus water contamination from runoff.
It's like a perfect storm.
And then there's the classic businesses operating without the right permits, trying to skirt the rules.
Yeah, of course, there's always that.
It's a whole mix of problems. And the article specifically mentions plastic waste as a really big issue.
Right.
Why is that such a problem in Lagos specifically?
I mean, plastic waste is a problem everywhere, but Lagos has this problem with their waste management.
Ah,
Think overflowing landfills, drainage channels clogged with plastic, and all that ends up in the ocean eventually.
oh, that's awful.
And it's not just the environment, it's a health hazard,
Yes.
especially in a city that dense.
Right, so you mentioned health problems.
Yeah.
How are these violations actually affecting the people who live there?
Well, the Vanguard article actually draws a direct line between industrial air pollution and respiratory illnesses.
That's scary.
Oh, yeah, if you're following global health trends, that's a huge red flag. And then contaminated water leads to, gastrointestinal issues, other diseases, especially in areas where clean water is hard to come by.
It's a chain reaction.
It is. And then there are the long-term consequences we don't even fully understand yet, like heavy metals and microplastics in the food chain.
Wow, that's really worrying.
It is. It's a big problem.
So this crackdown, I mean, it's definitely sending a message, but is it enough? Is shutting down 619 places a lasting solution, or is it just temporary?
Well, it's a strong statement, and maybe it was overdue. But the real question is what happens next, right?
Right.
Will this lead to stronger enforcement long term?
Yeah. Will businesses actually be held accountable? Will they change how they do things? Or will it just go back to how it was before?
Yeah, good points. Like, is this a real turning point or just a blip?
Exactly. That's what we have to see.
So Lagos is kind of like a microcosm, right? A lot of developing cities are facing these same problems.
Oh, absolutely.
What can other cities learn from what's happening in Lagos?
I think what we're seeing in Lagos shows how important it is to plan ahead, Like from the beginning, prioritize sustainability in your urban planning.
Yeah.
Think about designing cities with green spaces to combat pollution, efficient public transport to reduce emissions, waste management systems that can actually keep up with a growing population.
Baking it in from the start.
Exactly. It's about making environmental concerns a core part of how the city develops.
So basically, our deep dive into Lagos is showing us this city trying to deal with the side effects of its own success.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
This crackdown is a bold move, but it feels like it's just the first step.
It is. The big question is, can Lagos and other megacities like it find a way to grow sustainably, protect both the people and the planet?
That's a big one.
Yeah, it's a challenge that's going to shape the future of our cities.
It really is. And on that note, that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll catch you next time.